Welcome to the latest episode of the Burress Law Life and Friends podcast. And today, I've got very special guests here. I've got Reed Fisher. Hello,
Hi there.
Reed.
How are you guys? Good to be on here.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
All right. Well, we're already starting off with the bang. You guys should have heard the pre-show.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah,
Jamie
we'll see.
Walk
Hey.
and Jim Pollard.
Glad to be here.
I'm your host, Jason Burress. You guys just say a little bit, just a 10, 15 second intro of yourselves.
Born in San Antonio, Texas. Moved up here for work, and now have a couple different businesses that I own and
Names.
Stryker Roofing and Construction. We do residential roofing and mess around with some commercial stuff, and then an insurance agency called Integrity Personal Insurance. And then we've had a lot of other businesses that we bought and sold, started, flipped, whatever it might be. So.
All right. Jamie?
Cool. Jamie Walk, native Texan, lived here all my life. Real estate lawyer turned title guy. So I do all things real estate now, and husband and father of two, 15 and 12. So
This is a much better introduction than yours, Reed.
Well, you specifically said I was the color guy. So I'm the color analyst. I'm
You're
not
the only
supposed
one that's
to
had
know
a
about what's
podcast.
happening on the field. I'm supposed to just
Fair counterpoint.
throw sparkles at it.
I'll be the Tony Romo.
Jim Pollard, quick intro.
Yes, I was born out on a ranch in the Davis Mountains in far west Texas. Moved to Dallas in the mid-'90s. 3 kids. Own a couple of companies in the real estate space. And became friends with Jason maybe 10 years ago. And here I am.
All right, let's start the intros over, and this time let's make them interesting in 3, 2, 1, hit. No, I'm just kidding. All right, today, this is the men's roundtable. Men's roundtable. And what I love about this is everybody at this table, I mean, frankly, you kind of sat at the cool kids table in the lunchroom, you know?
Clearly.
Now, granted, I had to drag y'all from the nerd table to the cool table, but you found your way to the cool table. So this is a great group, and you're all really great friends of mine. I've known you the longest. Jamie, I've known you for
18 years.
18 years. Jim, probably a decade, I would guess.
Yeah.
And Reed, probably 2.
2 of the greatest years of my life.
That's the greatest years of my life, too. So with that, let's get into the first topic, smoking whiskey. Let me turn it over to Reed.
So here's the deal. He sent a text message. There was one reason I'm supposed to be on here, and it's specifically I can talk to about 8 of the 14 points that we're supposed to cover in this next hour. But one of them was whiskeys and smoking whiskeys. And during COVID, my hobby that I picked up during the COVID, everybody stays in.
Is this part of the explanation?
I got really into making cocktails, and I forgot the smoker, and I talked really big. And
That was a big jump from back in college and making cocktails.
Yeah, because I brought the whiskey.
Yeah, he did.
I brought the glasses.
And the ice.
I brought the ice.
Yeah.
From
the
home.
only thing I didn't bring was...
And he even sent a reminder text. So if it makes you guys feel any better, you can't get any worse than what I'm dealing with right now. So, but we're starting from the bottom. We're working where we're at.
So if we did have a demonstration, what would it look like?
So I take this and I do that and it comes off. I mean, it's really complex. I don't want to bore you guys with the magic that I produce, but no, one little secret that I do, we want to get down to brass tacks here,
Okay.
is if you're making an old fashioned specifically, because that's a good cocktail that you guys can smoke, is an old fashioned, is a lot of people, they'll make the old fashioned, then they smoke it at the end. Well, the problem with that is it's just sitting on the top. So what you can do is you put the syrup in the glass first and swirl it around and then smoke the syrup. So then what happens is the smoke is adhering to the syrup in the glass. So you're tasting the smoked syrup the entire time versus just the top of the cocktail, which is just an aromatic on the front end. So you actually are tasting the smoked syrup the entire time. Am I earning it right now? Am I earning it?
What I would ask
then
is-
you make the rest of the old fashioned.
You know,
cocktail.
before you started that explanation, I was really thinking I didn't care that you didn't bring the smoking stuff.
Yeah.
But now I
You're kinda
really wish I
upset.
could see it.
Yeah.
So are we talking about a piece of wood that
I do.
you catch on fire and then you set over the glass?
So
Okay.
I actually called up here before and I asked them if I could do any sort of fire, and they said no, and that's why I didn't
That's
bring
not
it.
true. I've got it right.
Okay, that's
absolutely.
you're right. You're right.
Lee? We could absolutely.
Yeah,
do it.
I forgot
so
it.
Just everyone
But I
take
feel
a
like
drink.
that's gold, though. He did share a lot of failures with us
Yeah.
to get to his
Yeah.
success
But
of giving
you-
us that.
that
You
was
either win or
helpful,
learn.
actually.
You don't
But
lose.
everyone take a drink now, and just imagine if he would have brought the whiskey smoker, and
know,
what it would have tasted.
Let's just
like.
assume it's already happened.
Sure.
Man,
Sure.
Reed.
Let's see.
You know, there's something about this.
Right.
I can't put my finger on it, but it's something that resonates in the oral factories. It in your throat.
Wow.
It goes everywhere.
It's
Wow.
fantastic.
It's the oral factors in the throat.
Where you been hanging out, Jim?
Yeah.
Oh,
You are at the cool kid table. Remember.
All right,
it's
so
so hard for me not to.
No, it's good.
So
It's
so
good.
that
Dive
so
in.
so just specifically with smoking, if we're going to talk about that, an old fashioned is a wonderful cocktail to smoke, but you can also smoke a lot of other good cocktails, and you can do different flavors of type of woods as well. So a cedar, you could do a cedar, and you essentially light the cedar plank on fire, tip over the glass that has the syrup in it, and the syrup
Oh, you
starts
put it on
running
the
down.
You put it on the wood.
That's right. So
Okay.
the syrup starts running down the glass. So if it's like this, tip it upside down, the syrup starts running down, it's the smoke's adhering to it. You can just taste it on your oral, whatever factories, whatever you said. Yeah, I went there again. So, but yeah, you can do a lot of fun deals with smoking, but specifically to whiskey, that's a good trick on an old fashioned.
well, that's good. We really knocked it out of the park on the smoking whiskey.
What is-
topic.
Actually, I appreciate the smoking the syrup though.
The verbal
first,
part of
before
your
you put the liquid
presentation
in.
was up here.
Right, it's the visual.
The visual
For
part.
those
When
of
I
you
did this
visual
little thing,
folks, you
stand
visual
there for part
guys, we're
two.
sorry about that.
you can imagine how good it would taste. And
No, I
thank you,
can.
Jamie,
and
for
I
appreciating
totally. I want to go get it. Do you buy
I
a little
get it.
paddle or something? Where do you get these? The little.
Amazon.
Okay.
You can go on Amazon and buy a cedar plank. Don't go to like Home Depot and take a piece of
84 lumber.
yeah. You can go buy like cedar plank salmon
Okay.
planks, and then you just get a torch and you smoke it. Once again, I cleared it with the facility, and they said I couldn't bring that sort of fire up in this.
Yeah.
Jim will have one less picket on his
I
fence
know.
tonight.
Oh yeah,
just so you know.
that's right. But no, it's good. What is your guys' favorite types of whiskeys? Oh, you like a bourbon? You like a
I'm gonna have
rye?
to
Do you like
think
a
about that.
Scotch?
Man, I don't
not a
know
Scotch
enough
guy.
about whiskeys to just say for sure. I'm happy with. You're not Scotch at all.
I'm not a Scotch guy.
I don't think I am either.
Yeah, not my thing.
What's yours?
Man, I bought all those expensive whiskeys. I had y'all come over.
You scared to
when
drink
the,
'em?
When the wives were out of town, they were right? This was like 2 months ago.
Yeah,
What was
and-
that super expensive one that?
Well, you had us. Well, you had us
remember?
bust open a Balvenie, which is a Scotch.
That was not my
I believe.
favorite because the whole time I was thinking about how expensive it was.
Well,
Other
I
guys
asked
not
you.
named me were
I was
drinking.
like,
So
I'm
give
like,
me a
hey,
range of
you have
expensive.
a Maker's Mark right next to this $250 bottle, but
Right.
it's out. So I'm just going to ask the question, and it was still in like a gift packaging wrap, and I was like, no, I'll just get the Maker's Mark or something real awesome. It came in a plastic bottle, but no, and we jumped into it, and it was good. It was a Scotch though, so Scotch is a little bit more.
Yeah, I think this is
an acquired taste.
This is Bowman Brothers
Yeah,
bourbon whiskey.
it's a bourbon.
So I've got that right there. I'm going to say it. It's really good.
Okay, so that's your favorite right there.
Wow.
I think so. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
And
I've
do
had
you
it
like
before.
bourbon
You
the
heard it
same
here
in the
first.
winter as the summer? Like, are you a bourbon drinker in the summer
not
or really in the winter?
I'm not really a whiskey drinker.
Okay.
I'm really not. I
great
do it
first
every
topic,
now and
then.
then. If there's other guys, then I'll drink with them. But
I have a question: is why was this on the topic list? If you specifically said I'm not a big, well, then you said
Well, I'll tell
this
you
is
why.
my favorite, but then I
That's
actually
an
don't really
You
like
shouldn't
it.
have
That
asked
was
that
an
question,
the sole
Reed.
reason
You shouldn't have
is-
asked that question.
is Christina Schulze Burress said, the thing about having Reed on the podcast is he smokes whiskey. And so you need to have a topic for smoking whiskey because Reed will smoke it right in front of all y'all.
Well,
So
God
that
knows
was
I can't talk about midlife crisis like the rest
Yeah,
of
let's
you
get into
guys,
topic
but
number 2, which is
all right.
where Reed is
So, yeah,
headed.
so, Okay, so we have some differences in ages. I'm 41. How old are you, Reed?
that's false. I'm 38.
You're 38?
38 years old.
Like in real?
A true 38.
Okay. Jamie?
I'm 44.
I'm 42.
Okay.
No,
Well,
there is no way I'm the old man in this group.
you are.
You bring wisdom to the group.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
you
a whole
are.
different
That's
thing.
why you're
So
here.
we're all like
Dog years.
approaching it, but we're not there yet. But if
Bunch of liars.
28
so
now.
fact or fiction, is it a real thing?
I think it is for a lot of people. For me, I think it was probably more of a midlife
Feels like
revelation.
you're going to project onto others here. in
No,
about 10
no. I mean, I
seconds.
didn't do anything crazy, but a revelation more so for me about why I'm here and what my purpose is, as opposed to just doing all of the things, meeting the expectations, doing the things everybody expects you to do. For me, that's what it was.
What's your purpose?
Bigger purpose. I serve God. I serve for a bigger purpose. It's not about deals. It's not about real estate for me. It's about connecting with other people. That's my purpose.
And to his point,
And I didn't realize that until I was 41.
so cool thing, we just met 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And the first way that you introduced yourself was that you're a people guy and you're a connector. So kudos to you for
Yeah.
sticking by that. It's the first thing you did to introduce yourself.
Yeah.
You also said that you played a lot of golf and hung out at the ranch, but
Yeah. You spend a lot of time with people on the golf course.
that's right.
You get 4 or 5 hours undivided attention
Yeah.
with people on a golf
I didn't
course.
know.
on you.
Yeah.
For some reason, I assumed you guys had known each other for a long
No.
time. Y'all just met today.
Well, there's that one time in college, but that was purely
connected
in a
it was-
different way.
It was purely experimental between us. No, this is our first time to meet.
Yeah, that's why I wanted
sure.
y'all, you three guys, that's why I wanted you, not because everybody else said no. Don't worry about that part. But no, you're all really great people, guys. Like when I describe, well, I mean, I was describing them to you, but everybody here is really great with people and building relations, like meaningful relationships.
The reason I was so excited about coming today and just being here with you guys is because I feel like guys don't talk about real stuff, and you and I were kind of laughing about this beforehand, and some of the guys were worried about talking about certain things and stuff, and I was like, that's the problem. People don't want to talk about real stuff, but as you get to, like you and I have had plenty of one-on-ones, right? And we talk about real stuff, and you share your stuff with me, and I share my stuff with you, and we don't judge each other, and it's just real talk. And I think we as men need more of that.
Hey, so what happened at 41 for the change?
So I'll make a long story short. I was given a book in 2002 called Wild at Heart.
John Eldridge.
Love it.
Great book.
I read it in 2002 when I knew everything because I was really smart at 24. And it was given to me by one of my closest friends, best man at my wedding. And then we were doing some renovations on our house, and I stumbled across the book, and I just went and sat in the backyard, read the whole book front to cover, front to back on a Saturday, and then I reread it again on Sunday because it hit me in a different way than it had ever hit me
and you've
before.
also obviously
You
read
gave
the
me
book.
that book.
I gave you that book. I've
Yeah,
given
it's-
out probably 75 copies of it now because
great
everybody
book.
I meet with, we have similar. We get to a point where not everybody I talk to. There's a lot of guys that I talk to where we get into discussions and they share things with me. I had a discussion yesterday with a young man who's 35, 34. Amazing discussion. He's years ahead of where I was at 34. And we talked a lot about a lot of these things, and it all stemmed from, hey, let's get together. Let's see how we can help each other in business.
Okay, so you read the book the second time, 2 days after you read it the first time, and then you walked into your family, and I mean, like,
Yeah, it was
keep going
different.
on the metamorphosis.
Yeah, so I went in and apologized to my wife
Wow.
for putting so much pressure on her
Okay.
to help me find my identity, because my identity will never be horizontal. It will always come vertical, right? It will never be through
So
someone
you
else.
walk in from the backyard,
Yeah.
into the house,
Yeah.
with the book in
It was.
your hand.
So for me, it wasn't like a crisis per se. It was more of a revelation for me.
And then what was her reaction?
Thank you.
That's it.
I think
And
she
you
felt
said you
a
wanted
lot,
to make these
I
changes.
think she felt a lot of relief.
And you wanted to make some changes.
Yeah. And I go back and forth, right? I try to keep it here, and I actually just read the book 2 days ago and yesterday
Dang, I gotta
again.
read this book.
I read it every 6 months just to kind of refresh.
It's a good book.
Has she read Captivating?
She has. I've given it to her. She has not read it.
And how old are your kids?
15 and 12. And I told my son last night he's there.
That's right.
Because he's finally reached that point. Because he keeps asking me, "Hey, Dad, can I read this book? Can I read this book?" And I was like, "I don't think you're ready yet, son." But I think he's there now.
I bet Eldridge now is probably more accessible than he was a decade ago.
Sure.
I would, and he's out of Colorado, I believe.
Yep, that's right.
Saddleback Church? No.
I don't
That's Jim
know.
Warren. That's
Yeah, I don't know.
whatever. Rick Warren. Thank you. The guy from the
Hop on,
behind the
grab a
camera.
mic. Yeah.
But either
Check out
way,
the big brain on-
which Saddleback I think is in California. But either way, I bet you could pretty easily get a lunch with him or something.
It'd be
Easier
awesome.
than you think.
It'd be awesome. And so for me, my business, we talk about business and we talk about all of that. For me, it's more about connecting with other guys, right? Because I feel like we have a bigger purpose here, all of us, and it's to lead our families and it's to be good people. And by good people, I think warriors for Christ. That's what it means to me. If I can share that with someone, then that's my bigger calling. It's not about another deal. It's about helping people kind of get what they want.
I've got to read that book, and not to bring this down, but
I've got a copy in my truck.
I've been
you can
kind of
have.
lost in that journey because so my wife was our leader, just in all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
She passed away about 5 years ago, and
gosh,
I have
I'm
not
sorry.
done a good job of. We go to church as much as I can get us to church, but I haven't done a good job. I don't think I've done a good job as far as, trying to keep all that going. Just
Church
'cause
happens.
There's so much going
Church
on.
happens everywhere.
But I would love to read that book and try to.
I've got a copy in my truck. You can
Okay.
have when we walk out of here. But
I will read
church
it.
happens everywhere. It happens here.
Yeah.
Anywhere two are gathered, God's there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So church happens everywhere.
Acts 2:42.
Yeah. So like every morning on my way to school with my son now, I'm very intentional about our 12-minute drive to school every day. I get excited about it because we talk about little things. We'll listen to a new song. We'll do something that, the other day he got on his phone and I got mad at him and he's jumping on his phone. I was like, no electronics. I get you for 12 minutes in the morning. Let's just talk. And he goes, he goes, well, Dad, and I was like, no, son, it's no exceptions, not on your phone. And he goes, but I'm looking up the Apostles' Creed. And I was like, oh, okay, continue. Because I guess his teacher told them that she wanted them to read that on the way to school every day because she was having some issues with kind of where their hearts were when they showed up for school. And I was like, continue, let's talk. And so we read through that.
Okay,
Anyways.
I'm having a really funny flashback about this other friend of ours that I'm not going to name. The book that
What
he
does his
brought
name
me.
rhyme with?
I'm not telling
First and
anyone.
last.
And
Okay.
if he's listening to this, he'll know. But the book that he brought me to read, as I'm listening
Sure.
to these beautiful, this book I have to read. But the book that he brought me was The Art of Not Giving an F.
Yeah.
I've read that.
You've
too.
heard that
Yeah,
book?
Yeah.
You've heard of the book? Everybody's heard of that book?
Yeah.
I've read it
Read
too.
it.
Yeah.
Really? I didn't. I haven't read it yet, but it's just funny.
The problem is I
I
do, so I can't. It's really hard for me to.
That's not true.
It's don't sweat the small stuff.
You live your
Is
life.
that what the
Don't-
book is?
that's
Don't sweat
it.
the small
Just
stuff?
like the 4-hour work week is. Yes, it's just don't sweat the small
Okay.
stuff.
All right. Well, anyway, it's just funny, like this book, and then, hey, dude, you need to read this.
Yeah.
I'm like,
to
really?
get back to
It's
your
a good
original
book, though.
question, I don't know that it was a crisis for me. It was more of a revelation for me. You could call it a crisis, whatever you want to call it.
I'm
Sounds like
gonna
you had
call
a
it a
pretty
crisis.
sounds like you had a pretty major life event that happened. So that that's a crisis in and of itself.
Oh, yeah, we
but
did.
You're not quite old enough, but you're getting there. It's not a crisis, but it sounds like you've got a pretty good handle on that too. What about you, Jason?
Yeah, to me, it's been a big deal, but it's been a big deal to me in a totally different way. It's about age. I cannot get out of my head that I'm getting older. So my wife's 9 years younger, and I think, oh my gosh, when I'm this age, she'll be this age. When I'm this age, and
And your kids.
I obsess over age. And it's not, I've never had Botox or anything like that, but I obsess over the sand in my hourglass is running out.
Yep.
Bottom line. And it bothers me to know that, oh my gosh, one of these days, chances are my kids will still be going. my wife will still be here and I'll be gone. And it bothers me.
Yeah.
And I obsess over it. So I think that's been the issue for me in terms of the midlife crisis, way more than like what sports car do I need to go buy or.
So is it a real thing for you? The crisis is the
For
mindset?
Sure. For sure. I obsess over it and I constantly try to not think about time. It's hard, very hard for me.
What does she say about that?
She doesn't care. She's a younger one.
She's 28 years old. Who cares?
There's
No,
some
I'm just kidding.
6'7" Swedish guy out there. Kidding me?
Not
No.
true. Not true.
So, but if you've had this discussion.
No, no.
With her? You've never had that discussion with her?
You're having it on a podcast for the first time?
Yes.
Oh,
I
my gosh.
waited. No, I'm serious. I would never have this conversation with my wife.
Well, I have.
That's a vulnerability.
It's just the
I
four
was
of
just
us.
talking to her about it. I said, don't worry.
no.
I'll be around.
No,
I'm around in Fairview. Fairview's not even a mile away. We're on the border of McKinney.
No.
Well, I think so. As I look,
that's
at,
what worries
and
me.
I'm not trying to make something out of nothing, but like I look what you've done in McKinney with the people you've given back to and the change that you've affected and how you've changed other people's lives. So I think while you may think about it as just a number and boom, 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 I'm going and when my kids are 16, I'm going to be 55 or whatever your number is, right? Sorry, that's way off because you're 41. Not exactly.
9 years is so minor.
I know the truth,
dude. 9 years is so
No, I mean,
small. I could literally run you through a whole 30 minutes of another show of 25 and 31, and 9 years is nothing. That's almost normal.
That's what I tell my wife. But listen, the whole key is for me to live until I'm 100 and be, have all my faculties and all that. But we're not guaranteed any of that.
or just actually live the days you have left, right?
Yeah.
Like really
But
live
it-
them.
but it
I feel
bothers
like
me.
you do that, right?
I do,
You spend
but
a
I'm
ton
just-
of time with your kids. You
I
spend a
do.
ton of time working hard. You spend a ton of time at the ranch. Like you maximize all the minutes of your
I
day.
do. I
would
maximize,
agree.
but by the same token, like my wife mentions to me about a milestone birthday party. Let's just say that. And she's like, do you want a party? What kind of party do you want? And I obsess over the fact that I only have this many days until a milestone birthday, and I know them by number. I know the days by number.
Yeah.
It bothers me. Like I'm
But
coming
that's
around the
everybody.
bend.
You're not unusual.
some
That's
people,
everybody.
Some people, I don't think they even think about.
Oh, they're lying.
They're like age is a number.
Yeah, that's what they say.
I don't know.
Don't worry about tomorrow.
So
Today has enough worries of its
so
own.
like my whole like the way to get past it is to live to 100 and be healthy, but yet sometimes I find myself at the Dairy Queen eating a steak finger basket. I mean, I don't know.
pairs well with a good whiskey.
I mean,
don't know.
to some
No,
level,
I
the
hear
onus
you.
is on you that you do have a younger wife. So it is on you that you are going to stay in shape and look as good as you can and all these things because you owe it to her, because it just happens that you are a bit older. But that's pretty much the beginning and the end of that little rubric. I mean, you got to do your best, and you do. And you don't seem any older or younger to her. I mean, to me, y'all.
I can whip her in tennis. I can whip her
yeah.
in pickleball.
Hell
I can
yeah.
outrun her. I can still do all those
He's
things.
super humble about it.
I mean,
Yeah. And his hair's
look,
coming back
You
nicely.
get.
Sure.
I mean, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
He's
All
already
right,
sent a
we're going to
picture.
skip the next topic. Let's go to things I know now that I wish I would have known at age 25. I think this was your topic. By the way, just for the
Thank God we're
Thousands.
skipping dream cars.
Reed's
Well,
not talking
that's
a lot.
fine.
Can we do something to make
We
Reed?
will.
He's
No,
will.
I'll
so
jump in.
bad
I
about
will
ruining
jump.
the
No,
first part.
listen,
Start with
look,
somebody else. Since
we
it's my
had
topic.
okay,
we
all
had
I
a
feel like
really
I
good
spoke a
we had a
lot.
really good talk about the midlife. I could have jumped in, but
know.
why spoil something good?
I know, but I can tell you're hurt.
No,
The whole smoking
no, are you
thing.
kidding
I can
me?
tell you're,
No,
you're
he's
in
got a lot
recovery
off
mode.
right
Right
Let's
now,
start
I'm just
here.
like I'm
You're
like
in
Wyatt
re-
Earp, with my fingers next to the trigger.
So
Buddy, you just
start.
wait. You just
You
wait.
start. You start.
Something you wish
Things
you would have
that-
known when you were 25
that you know now.
that you know now.
Okay, I have a serious answer because I thought about this. I have a serious
No, it
answer,
should be.
and I have probably like a funny answer. Something like that. Which one do you want?
The serious.
Serious.
Okay, so the serious one is I have learned how to be a better husband to my wife, as we've gotten older and the kids get older, 10-year-old and 8-year-old, I've learned the things that she's been speaking about that frustrate her, like how to be a better husband. So if I could have told my 25-year-old self, what I know now about being a husband, we have a very rich, healthy, happy marriage, and I'm happily married.
And how long have you been married?
14 years.
14 years.
I wonder what that would have looked like from marriage.
What would you have told yourself?
To specifically, what I'm trying to do is make concerted effort to be like, you know what? It is my problem. It's our problem. So if my son leaves his shoes there, instead of me passing by the shoes, I know where they need to go. It's not her problem to pick them up.
How old were you when you got married?
Wait, you're picking them up, or you're going to find your son?
Well,
to help
I
him
mean,
realize
that's a horrible example, but I'm just saying specifically.
Well, I had this example this morning, is why I'm asking.
In that case, I would probably throw a shoe at my son. But let's say it's 9:00 at night and the house needs to get cleaned. Instead of me passing by the shoes, I'm going to pick them up because I know that she would do it.
Sure.
But I'm going to make that concerted effort. I know my day is far busier than hers. Far busier, far more stressful. But when she says I'm picking the kids up because one of the kids sick and I got to do this and I got to do my tennis lesson and she's really busy and all this thing.
I feel this like drifting out.
But I still recognize that that's what her busyness is and that I'm no better than her. So I say I'm trying to be respectful of her day because that is what we signed up for when she said she's going to stay home.
How old were you when you got married?
24.
Okay. So you're basically saying that that what you know now is that these respectful kind of issues.
She's more beautiful, and we are happier in marriage now because I respect her more. Sure, we looked better when we were 24.
Well,
great, I had an 8-pack, right?
What she does,
but
minute to minute. Yeah,
that's right. There's an admiration there, and I'm realizing that I realize that now more every day. Than I did when I was 25 or so. So just respecting her time and her effort is I guess is what I'd say. It's like you're not any better than her. Your time is more important. And I guess that's what I'd communicate. So
okay, that's good.
Okay, so the
funny thing. Let's get to the funny thing.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
I already
it's
hit the
super,
grandstanding thing. Let's do this.
Yeah, right. Lottery never pays off.
Get your mouth off the microphone.
No. Sorry. Yeah, weird. I think I would have. So I guess it's not super funny, but what I would, I know, because I have some stuff, but it's not.
Never get to
set it up.
issue your funny line and say it's really not that funny.
I got some great jokes.
It's not good.
No, what I'd do is I would have started working out, created a lifestyle of working out.
Yeah,
that's what I would have done.
That's the funny one?
That's not the funny one.
It would have been a 12-pack instead of an 8-pack. Yeah.
So. I would have bought Amazon stock.
Okay,
there we go.
That is
okay,
funny.
I feel better.
Yeah,
it's not funny.
All right, so would you like to
fire away, Jim?
So I thought about this as I read through the deal. The one that actually captured me for a second to think about it, and when I thought about it, there were two areas that if I could go back and talk to a 25-year-old Jim, what I would tell him. Number one, be aggressive. There is no one out there that's starving you. I mean, there is very little downside to being aggressive in the country we live in. And I can't tell you how many deals I talked myself out of that today I look back on that just were grand slam home runs. And I drive by them all the time. And I'm just like, why did I think that I couldn't have done that?
I love this. I love that.
See, that was exactly what and I'm like,
still
the only thing I wrote down.
You guys did that after mine.
I literally, I can drive down 75 and see deals that I passed on. And I'm like, what would have been the worst case scenario for me had it gone wrong? What's the worst thing? What can they do to you? We don't have debtor's prison. We don't, whatever. Anyway, be aggressive. I mean, go for your dream. So that was the main thing. Second thing, I remember Wendy and we would talk about, and we were, I was making money, I was doing good, but all the trips and things that we would talk about going to Europe and whatever, there was never a good time to go on a big trip. There was never a good time to get pregnant. There was never a good time to do anything. So our planning gets all tangled up because you just can't find a good time to say, well, let's have a child next year, or let's go to Italy for a month, whatever. Anyway, just do it. I would tell a 25-year-old, just go. Nothing bad is going to happen to you. So what? You disappear for 30 days. Just do it. And anyway, those two things are what I would really harp on. The Amazon stock obviously would be good.
That would have been good.
So point of clarification. We do not talk about the topics beforehand. We don't go into what we're going to say or anything like that. But for this particular podcast, because just to pull back the curtain for a minute, there was some apprehension from potential guests about.
Wait, I thought we were the first.
for session 2.
Yeah.
Sure.
There was apprehension about a men's roundtable. And so I did send out a list of potential topics. So they saw the topic list. We did not talk about any topics. And that is consistent with every podcast that we never talk beforehand about what we're going to say or anything like that. So that's important to me. That's important to the integrity of the podcast. A little bit unusual that we shared possible topics, but we did, and that's why.
Yeah, so mine, Jim, are along those same lines. Life is short. Take chances, but don't make them little chances. Take big chances. I'd rather fail at something that I'm really passionate about than succeed at something that I don't really care about, right? So take bigger chances. That's what I would tell myself 20 years ago, right along the same line, right? And then my other one was invest in people. Because life to me is about the people that you meet and the experiences you have with those people. I'll never forget this. This is my first podcast. This is a lot of fun. You have lots of experience doing podcasts, as do you. Is this your first podcast?
It isn't, but
well.
I don't. Our grizzled veteran over there has so much more experience.
And
than
I have so many
so
funny
we're kind of
things to
looking to
say
him as to say,
about things I do at 25.
to save us at this point.
But yeah, so for me, life is short. Take chances. Take big chances. I mean,
Big chances.
And I've had a couple, not people that I was extremely close to, but like people that I went to high school with that have passed away, and I'm like, that guy's my age.
Yeah.
That could happen at any point. Like live. It's kind of to your point. You were saying you and your wife were talking about going places, and there was never enough time. Like go, do. Like God will provide. You will have the provision.
Excuses that you give yourself are not.
They're bogus.
They're bogus.
Yeah.
Literally, we did end up doing these trips and everything, but way later than we thought we would. And then by the time we got around to doing them, we were already in kid mode and it was harder and whatever. But there is no reason. Whatever reason you come up with is a bogus reason.
Dream
Just freaking
and then go create those dreams for
Yeah.
yourself.
I totally agree. And it's funny how we come out of the shell somehow with these innate excuses as to, oh, well, now's not a good time. I don't know why we do that, but anyway, yeah, that would be something that you would want to go back and be like, go, man, go.
And for me, to kind of bring it back to the wild at heart thing, for me, the apology I made to my wife, which is something I would have wished someone would have told me when I was 25, is men don't go to women to get strength. They go to offer it. Mm-hmm. So if I'm having to go to her to kind of validate me, justify me, then I need to go be alone by myself somewhere, like for months in the mountains, right? Like I need to get right with myself and God before I can be in this situation. Mm-hmm. So that would be another thing. But I think that's a process of growing up and living and figuring out who you are. So what about you, Jason?
Yeah, I think this is super personal. At 25, I had actually it was a little bit later than that.
We had just met each other at 25,
Right.
so this is an interesting time.
This is super personal.
So you're out of law school, you have a job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was engaged, and just picture being engaged to the sweetest person in the whole world, right? Super, to this day, like one of the sweetest people I've ever met. And it just wasn't perfect. Not because of any fights or anything like that, but just it was, I think, to be truly connected with your forever partner, you need to feel like they're in the boat. When it's a mentor mentee, professor student type
You
relationship,
got it evenly yoked.
That's right. That's right. And that was sort of the issue. And so, yeah, I mean, that's
Cheers to
that's
that.
fantastic.
Well put.
So obviously, Kyle Dreyer, who's actually with our firm. We worked for him at his firm back in the day. But he's one of the ones. I mean, he and Wendy, his wife, would come up to me at I can't tell you how many dozens of times at his firm. People would come up to me and say, "When are y'all going to get married?" And it wasn't perfect, but I had no idea how to answer that type of question, which I got all the time, and I had such apprehension of being asked the question. So we were engaged, and we're engaged for 3 years, but I couldn't make it to the altar. And at that age, I just did not have the ability to look somebody in the eyes and say, it's not perfect. I'm hoping we get there, but right now we're not there. Instead, I would come up with any BS excuse that I could to get through it. And that was really hard. So I think, and I'm still very protective of me. I'm very protective of my family, and I'm very protective of the brand. I mean, I am. There's people right now with issues with me who know that they're finding out how protective of the brand I really am, and I am. That's hard for me. I'm better at it now than I was 20 years ago. That is for sure.
So the girl had done nothing wrong. She was all in.
Right. And what would you
Wonderful
have
woman.
told?
Yeah. So what was your advice to your 25-year-old self? Commit or what? What is your advice?
Be honest with
There's something that
the
wasn't right
people
for
who
you.
love you. No. People asking you, people who care about you.
Yeah.
They're not trying to start rumors. They're not trying to hurt your feelings. They want to know what's going on. And be honest. Be truthful. Be willing to share bad news. Be willing to share that your life is not perfect. And I think we as guys have a lot of problems doing that.
Goes back to our first point.
We do. There is
This goes back to our first point, which is why we're here.
It's like our social media lives versus our real lives, and they're different.
I think
There's a
generally
difference.
men, we don't do well in those the situation you describe when the other people in the situation are giving their 100%. We're not good at going in and coming up with a negative. I mean, we're just not.
And is that for fear of being judged? Is
I
that
don't
for?
know.
Is it because
We're
we
not
seek
good at it.
validation in other
It
men?
certainly was for me back then. I had a lot of shame on the issue.
Yeah, a lot of that kind of starts seeping out, and it's just we're not like that's a problem for men.
I deal with a lot better now than I used to, but that's hard for me. What about you?
Well, I was going to say that part of that's pride, right? I mean, like with all of our businesses individually, there's one point when everybody would ask, how's business going? You're like, great, killing it.
Pride and vulnerability.
Murdering the ball, right? But that ability to be vulnerable and say, look, hey, it's not going as great as I was hoping. That opens doors to other opportunities for conversation, whatever it might be. Because if you are that, it's great. No, I'm good. Ship shape. People, that doesn't allow any sort of tutelage or doesn't allow any sort of sharpening. So I get it.
Yeah.
The iron sharpens iron.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, let's turn topics to fitness. So we all agree, right, that fitness is really important in our lives. It's important to longevity, right?
Especially for us older folks.
For those
Anybody
older folks,
north of 40.
For those older folks, for sure. What's everybody doing for fitness?
Who wants to go first?
I can start. So
Fire away.
3 to 4 times a week, I'll either go to the gym and work out and then run.
Okay, so quick hit around the table. Personal trainer, yes or no?
No personal trainer.
No.
No.
No. have ever used a personal trainer.
Former college athletes, so we had them when we were in college.
Grandstanding a little bit there,
I
but
showboated just a little bit there.
It's a baseball player at TCU.
I'm huge. I don't need
I mean, but by the way, that kind of bothers me
helps.
here. I feel like I am the shortest
You
guy on
are.
my own
We talked to
podcast. And that just bothers
Reed
me.
when we walked in, Reed was like, "Can you believe the shortest guy?"
I didn't want to
I
say
mean-
it on like the official podcast, but
We all
it
pushed
got
our
brought
I
up
mean, I'm
early.
6'1" if I
It got brought
stand
up
really,
early.
really straight.
With boots. And we pushed your chair up a little bit, gave you a little bit more whiskey, so
We
you
hit
felt
the
bigger.
little lever that makes your chair go up. And
It's really tough. It's tough for me. It's really tough.
But yeah, no personal trainer. In fact, my 12-year-old has started working out with me in the morning, which is kind of crazy. He's like, Dad, I
that's
think I
cool.
want to get bigger.
like
and I'm
that.
like, I don't think you can because you're tiny,
I'm
but
not sure you're
I'd
taller
love
than
to.
me, by the way. I don't know. If I'm going after anybody,
He's
you.
aggressively grabbed my shoulder because he's upset that I am.
What about you guys?
uh,
Working out.
oh yeah, I work out. No trainer.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So
I think it's important.
Yeah, we have something that genuinely Jason's a part of this group that we started, and it's an accountability group that you have to work out 4 times a week. And if you don't, then you owe every person on the text thread $10.
But I've never paid.
We know.
Jason said it was like a really short group. Is that the group?
I love this
It's
group.
a sub 6 foot group. I don't know how I got in it, but he's obviously in it.
I love this group. I love this text group.
Yeah. So we and candidly, the last probably 3 weeks, just with I think a lot of sports and stuff. It's been a weird last couple weeks, weather and what have you. People haven't been as consistent, but for the most part, everybody's knocking out four workouts a week. That has been super helpful for me. I know it's been. I think for you, I don't know if I can speak for you here, but it's been it's been wildly helpful.
So what is it? The text just.
You take, so what you do is you take a screenshot. The funny thing is, talking about getting old, is everybody knows how to do a screenshot
Here we
of their
go.
phone. Jason, who just got an Apple Watch probably 3 weeks ago, screenshots.
I don't know
He
that
takes
I take a picture with my
of his
phone.
watch, which
And I crop it.
it's
So that-
just embarrassing. When you literally you go to you type in fitness on your phone and you screenshot it. We'll show afterwards.
it.
I know it's embarrassing, but either way, he sends a photo. It looks like that he went like and like
Sometimes it's blurry
it's all
too.
grainy. Like
To your point, though, there's accountability, though, in that. Like you,
Okay, so that's
you
the
could just,
accountability.
So the accountability is 30. You have to spend 30 minutes.
but you could just friend all of your guys on your Apple Watch, and then everybody sees when you worked out
We
and how
have
much you
one
worked
guy
out.
who's
and
an Android.
it doesn't matter. Then
It
he
doesn't
can just
matter.
text. But everyone else, you
If I
guys
can call
could
out
just
all
see.
people have
I take
Androids.
a picture. I remove all the hair on my arms. I just get like
That hair
crop
stuff's
it down.
really working.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really trying to help, but apparently,
It's 30 minutes. You got to do 30 minutes. We could do that share thing. That's brilliant.
Are
I
you
think
still
that's
at Club
exactly what we'll do.
Fitness?
I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I do with my friends. So that
Good.
I don't do a text every morning, but I've got all of my friends, like Sean and Evan. Like I've got my people on
And so
there.
you can just share and you see what they did.
I can tell you how many calories Evan has burned today.
No
and how,
way.
Yeah,
What?
And
look,
like his
right there.
fitness for the
Evan's
day?
worked out for 9 of 30 minutes. He's burned 409 calories. He's only
Okay.
worked out 9 of 30 minutes.
That doesn't count as a workout. but-
And he's a big guy, so that means he probably just walked to a
Right,
restaurant
right.
somewhere.
Can we spend a second on where Jason is choosing to spend this workout time at Club 4 Fitness, which I was also a member for a
Well,
minute.
he would work out in his garage, but
so I do
Let's
have a
not go
home
there.
gym. I have a home
It is-
gym.
It is $11 a month.
It's 10. I
It's
go for
$10 a month.
Lesser
What is this?
membership. It's Club 4 Fitness in McKinney.
And
Greatness.
nobody's
Is
really
this the one
convinced that he's ever
downtown?
actually walked in there, but somehow he's managed to convince everybody that he does go there.
And he's on the
But it's
posters.
always so late that really nobody's.
There's a weird
do
thing
this.
going on in
You
Club
cannot
4
cheat
Fitness.
this.
Everybody that goes in has a bag. What's with the bag? Like the bags look like they're bombs. Like there's
until you
bags
told
everywhere.
me that, and now I'm very sensitive to
can't
it.
cheat that.
weird.
And everybody walks in
That's
with
the beauty of it, is
backpacks.
you can't cheat it.
Backpacks. Like,
look
why
into
do you
that.
got the
Well, that's
backpack?
in
You're
there.
going to work
I would have
out.
never noticed if it wouldn't
It's
have been for
really
you.
weird. You got to
It
watch
is
out
odd.
for it.
I like
It
that.
is odd.
Just friend
I wouldn't
everybody.
have
What is your-
noticed if you had not have brought it
I
to
feel
my
like a
attention.
bomb could go off any second.
so
I'm nervous.
What is up with the bags?
They people have bags at this gym. Like
No, everywhere they have them.
there's no.
What's
Guys
inside the
walk
bag?
into the gym with a backpack.
I don't, who knows what's in it? There could be something really bad in it. And
So
we
is
don't
that
know.
why you don't work out there?
Well, I do work out there. It's just
It's
really
bags.
late.
limited
Without
It's
a
a
bag.
fight or flight workout, and,
Sure.
and I mean, it's
Because
just
you
like,
don't know
it may
if
just be one
you're going to
hand.
die at any minute
Yeah.
because the bags.
There's-
it's weird.
It's a
really
thing.
weird. We gotta watch
So
out.
I have a home gym, and that is what has helped me because I don't have the excuse of like, it's a 5 minute.
I can't do home gyms.
Yeah.
I've got a home gym, but I mean, walking up the stairs to get to it.
Can you do that though?
Who can do that?
Just let me know when I can buy some of that stuff off you for your home gym when you keep on working out at Club
We've
4
got
Fitness.
We have a Pilates.
You have a bar.
Reformer.
You have all kinds of stuff in your home gym.
Do y'all have a reformer and all that?
Yes, he has
yeah.
everything.
I will buy it all
Man, that
off you.
reformer is
Never
gold.
go up there.
I will smoke an old fashioned for you for all of these items of note.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody have a Peloton at home?
I do.
No.
No.
I love
Okay.
it.
You love it?
Yeah.
Do you have
The
to put a little
cost
dress
of it?
on whenever you get on it?
No.
Or is it just
No.
something you can get on?
No, you just nude.
Okay.
Yeah.
No
Oh yeah.
clothes.
If you want to video that, we can too. It looks really nice.
The Peloton, so a little bit expensive, worries me. And then the whole thing, like, are they going to be in business next month or are they not?
Well, then
Worries
they
me.
would just cancel the subscription.
Hey, did you see their
But-
stock? Did you see Peloton stock? Went to like 6? What is it now?
It's horrible.
What is it now?
Like going out of business, bad.
But the
This guy
entire
owns
world
one.
knows that name.
Yes.
It's worth some more than what the current price is, right? Peloton.
I mean, it is a great. It is for specifically for me, but I know for a lot of people, it is nice because you have some sort of accountability from a trainer pushing you to
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
things on a
so
screen.
you do the classes.
I do I don't do the live classes, but I can do. So my workout routine is weights, and then I'll also sprinkle in cardio. If you guys are wondering why I'm so svelte, that's what it is.
We weren't wondering.
Are you sure? Yeah. What are we talking? Oh gosh.
Jason's worried about my drink, whether it's cold enough.
Oh,
That's the emptiest drink glass I've ever seen.
It's in bad shape.
That's what happens when you drink it all.
I'm just
so
trying to see if you
so no. I personally like the Peloton. It's nice to be able to jump on. Like I'm going to do a 30-minute ride. It's easy.
Yeah.
Are they going to go out of business? I don't know, but at this point they're not.
What did
So
it cost you, and what does it cost you per month?
I pay annual,
spender.
and it probably was like cash, obviously. But no, there was an upfront cost to get the bike and the shoes and all that stuff. But I don't know. I like it.
So
it's
so
nice.
it's been a good thing.
Positive thing.
Specifically for our house,
Yeah.
it has been very helpful. Like my wife can go up, like I need to knock out a 20-minute. I want to burn 300 calories. She'll go on there.
Most of my friends that have them love them.
My daughter, if I'm doing a workout and she comes into my little the garage gym, she puts on one of the gals who she likes and she'll do a ride. It's fun.
So it's in your garage. Does it have like a screen or
It's
is
got a
it
big
just
screen.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. You got to find your favorite trainer, right?
What's that?
You got to find your favorite trainers, right?
Yeah.
Well, I've told
yeah.
my wife
There's
no
certain
on the
reasons I pick
Peloton.
certain
Right.
trainers.
That's right.
So somewhere around February,
friendly.
her income will probably exceed mine, and she may be able
Wait,
to
back
score.
up. So your wife came to you and said, "Let's get a Peloton," and you said, "No."
Yeah, all I
you
want for
said
Christmas
no.
is a Peloton. And I said, no, it's too expensive.
There is
And
something
You're
being
going to put it
omitted
right
from
next
that.
to
I mean-
all the other machines you have that aren't being used.
Right. Yeah. She just looks
Just
like,
sell
let's
me
get
that
a-
one too.
How do
Might
I
as well
get
have
that?
two of them.
Jason's
My
like, how do I
goodness.
get that up
Yeah.
the stairs?
All
How
right.
expensive is that?
All right, let's get to what I really want to get to,
Hair
which is
product.
I can beat
No.
beat
Oh.
Jamie in
Damn,
pickleball.
we got to get to that though.
No,
But
keep going.
Before we get there, pickleball.
There's no way you
the
can beat me in
greatest
pickleball.
Probably
sport
can.
in the world.
There's
pickleball.
no
It is a
way.
good
Sure, but either way,
I'm 6'3", you're like 6'1".
right? Yeah, a little bit faster than you. But, yeah, it's cute. You played for a small little
play
college.
So cute.
Pickleball.
Challenge accepted.
I
Yeah.
play pickleball.
We could have
You
a
play
pickleball
pickleball?
match.
You do?
For sure. We have a group of guys that will go out to Bentry's got a little pickleball courts, and they've got like a little par 3 course.
Okay.
So
Anybody not
We'll go out
played?
for lunch, play par
played.
3 course, and then go play 30 minutes worth of pickleball.
That's cool.
Well, we
It's awesome.
have
It's
a
way better
group-
than like a happy hour or whatever.
Yeah.
We just go there.
We've
It's
got
awesome.
a McKinney group that
It's called
I
pickled balls.
Yeah, pickled balls.
That's very
I'm
fitting.
telling you, so
Very
I'm just
fitting.
going to come out with a statement here. I'm telling you, this is one of the most important things in my life.
Pickleball?
I'm telling you, it is
Getting there on Wednesday nights.
Wednesday nights.
Have you
really
ever
important.
played singles, or is it always doubles?
I've played singles too.
Okay.
I've lost at them both, singles and doubles.
I've never
you're
played
not-
singles pickleball.
I
Well,
haven't
so
either.
I've played
always
a guy
doubles.
who is like wants to be like a professional pickleball player, and he's going through the whatever to do that. I don't even know how that works, but
What? Yeah. What is this? The whatever.
he talks about doubles pickleball people like doubles. That's doubles. So I was like, what? So what's the difference? Singles, doubles, whatever. But anyway, to your point,
amount of
pickleball
running.
is the greatest invention of a sport that has come along, and I don't even
So-
know. Name another one.
Yeah.
Name another new sport that's come along. That's, I mean, could you say racquetball maybe?
no.
No.
So
What else?
I won my first 5 pickleball matches.
Doubles.
I went ahead. Some were
Against
singles, some
Luke?
were doubles.
With your- with
let's
your-
not worry about that. I booked
Luke's
and
10.
registered for the U.S. Open in Naples, Florida, and then I don't think I've won a game since. So
Okay.
it's been tough. But it is unbelievable. And there are really levels to pickleball. Like you think all of a sudden you think I'm a pretty good pickleball player. You will play against a couple of guys and you'll be like, oh, we
Okay,
actually
so
didn't score.
the thing that shocked me about pickleball, because I had never really played. I started playing with this buddy of mine who's this big time pickle. He plays in DC and Virginia, all over. So we're playing. He beats me 11-0, and then like 11-2, and then like 11-3, and he stops and he comes over and he goes, Jim, and he tells me what I should be doing.
Yeah.
Next game is 11-9.
Yeah.
The game after that, I beat him.
You can't play from the baseline.
It is
in
amazing
pickleball.
with a little bit of instruction that game.
That's right.
It like,
It,
and he goes, I'm not telling you
It's like
anything
Connect
else.
4.
and
Little
I'm telling
strategy
you,
will
you can
get you a
burn
long-
750 calories in an hour and 15 minutes. It's incredible what you can.
And we'd be
A,
able
I
to
didn't
tell
know
from
there
your
was a
Apple Watch.
strategy in Connect 4. B,
There is.
there's okay. That's good to know.
You'll never lose again after we talk afterwards.
B is I entered into a pickleball tournament.
Oh, here we go.
Wow, how'd that go?
Scoreboard.
Horrible. So I'm like, oh gosh, and I even told the guys with, I was like, here's what's going to happen. We're going to at least, this is what I tell them. So we're going to at least make it to the quarterfinals. That's my thing. And I'm like,
Oh, that's exactly what you told him not to do.
I mean,
I don't think this rises to the level of the smoking.
There were 2 things,
but it's
bring
clearly
the smoker, turn the phone.
well, it's my watch.
2 things.
But either way, so I'm like, I tell the guy, I'm like, we're athletic enough. We're going to at least make to the quarterfinals. So the way they did this tournament is the first game you played a 15. First sets of games you played a 15. Essentially like pool play, and then you actually they seed you for the tournament.
yeah.
So the first game we lost 15-1. And these guys, like, they were probably twice our age. It was
Is it
crazy.
15?
Where was the
Well,
tournament?
this was specifically, this one was held at Stonebridge Ranch.
Okay.
But I thought it was just going to be local people. But there was people from all around. There was 54 teams
No, pickleball, yeah.
that came to
They
compete in
travel
this.
to do those tournaments.
So then the second, I mean, it was such great learning for me to like actually play against people who knew what they're doing, because then it made me like, all right, it has athleticism can only get you so far. Then there's the strategy. And I have people, there was a gal in a knee brace who was probably 65 years old, and the guy, because he's like,
story is-
he
Like,
goes,
we got this game.
He goes,
So she
hey,
kicked
I'm not
your-
going to take it easy on that old girl. And I was like, please, I'm gonna hit her right at her knee. She was a sniper. I mean, I looked and I was like, ma'am, you have no right being in the, like, it was so there's people, but they said, hey, look, we play. They got to understand we're retired. We play 4 times a week, 2 to 3 hours 4 times a week.
She had no need for the knee brace either. She just wore
She was
it
just
as,
fake.
like,
Yeah, probably.
Yep. All right, so pickleball, we're all a hard yes
We're-
on that.
we're all
And
hard yes,
Our next
and-
meeting will be on the pickleball course.
Yes, and we need a whole podcast on pickleball. And if I have a whole bunch of money, like a whole bunch of discretionary income, I want to make like 20 pickleball courts, lessons. Everybody ever heard of chicken and pickleball? Pickleball?
Chicken and pickle.
Chicken pickle. It's in Grand Prairie.
Heard it's great.
We need to go compete with them.
You also need to go to Boulder over there. It's pretty awesome. It's like a rock.
Just to bracket out this section of the podcast,
Yeah.
When we started, Jason was he was probably calling me from his office. He was being efficient. Start at 4, end at 4:30. So here we are at 5:30.
It's 4:26 in Colorado.
4:26.
We've been going less than an hour.
We are at 58 minutes.
Okay, less than an hour.
Okay, so now what?
All right,
happens?
Man
hair
knows- man knows how to build
hair
time.
care talk. Everybody wants to know.
Oh, get your phones out.
Okay.
I mean, there were 100 messages at least about how have I grown.
Is this a pyramid
afro.
scheme
Oh,
that we
we're talking
are?
about hair?
Yeah,
Are we?
we
Is
gotta
this like
turn it-
Extremely personal.
We
Is
gotta
this-
turn it to hair?
Is this a pyramid scheme? Is this how you're going to get out of?
No.
Out of.
Before we even launch into that, I'd like to talk about the pact that Jason and I entered into. And I feel like as a man of the law, he appreciates
Not a man of the
and
Lord,
respects-
or the man of the cloth, the man of the law.
he appreciates a pact as such. And fast forward, he has deviated from this pact, entered into this hair.
What was the pact? To
Extravaganza.
lose our hair gracefully or what?
Jim did not
No,
want
now
us
look
to
at-
talk about it.
Look,
at all.
he's growing this hair.
Yeah.
And we had a pact about, riding this ship down. I mean, together. We were gonna mutually go down this hole together. And then next thing I know, I see a post on Facebook.
Where he looks like he's 16.
This hair is, and I'm like, what? Wait, what happened?
All right,
so
do
let's
tell,
start
Jason.
there,
Okay.
Jason.
All right.
What
so-
happened
yeah,
to make
so-
you deviate from this legal?
So we did have a deal. We had a deal. I may have
it was a
broken
pact,
it,
not a deal.
But
Defense
you did-
attorneys,
you-
pay attention
you
because if
went
he has a deal with you, you better get it in writing.
Jim went left. I went right.
I
So
don't
Jim,
remember going any direction other than being left.
Jim went
cliff.
non-traditional. I'm not going to get into what all he did. He went non-traditional.
Staring in the mirror, like
hair
hoping like
care
one hair sprouts.
restoration. What I told Jim, I go, look, Jim, before I go left, I want to go right to conservative hair care treatment, things that have been around for a while. I mean, I want to go to there.
Were you looking like Bosley or whatever? Is that where you're
No,
looking?
no, that's not what it is. But look, I mean, I've always had a little bit of a high forehead line. High forehead.
No. That'll be crazy.
Keep going.
But yeah,
Foreheads.
around 30, I just started to
foreheads.
notice like I don't know if it's holding up that well. And by 40, I was like, I sure know it's not holding up that well. And so it's bothered me. It's bothered me, and I don't love that you're holding my war chest.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, just for the
But-
people that can't see the video.
But no, it's all on video. So finally, I actually went to my dermatologist of all people. I went to my dermatologist and I said, look, I'm bothered by this, and do you know anything? And he goes, well, I do know things.
He's a dermatologist.
Did you tell him this was affecting the brand?
It's affecting the brand. And I need to have a full head of hair. And so Jim and I had a plan.
He keeps inserting that word. It
And by the
wasn't
way-
the word, it was a pact.
if you go back to one of the very first
Like a
podcasts,
blood
We
oath?
held each other when we talked about it.
Oh,
if you go back to one of the very first
Like,
podcasts, thousands of listeners, thousands.
hundreds of.
From
George
across
Fuller,
this great land.
Ten.
George Fuller was on here and he laid it down like very aggressive treatment. So I decided to go conservative. And so I asked him and he said, here's what you need to do. You need to go to this particular website. He goes, I can give you a prescription and you can go to CVS and pay
This is your dermatologist.
my dermatologist. You can pay a ton of money for
No, this
a
is his
prescription.
contractor.
No, I thought it was George.
No, this is my dermatologist.
Okay.
He said, or you can go to this men's site, which I'd never heard of at the time. And he said, you can order it directly from there in generic form and it'll be cheap, which I'm a cheap guy. Definitely am. I'm proud of it. And that's the most important thing for me. I don't want to overpay for anything. You can order it directly from that site, that men's site, and you can order it for a whole year. And instead of paying thousands of dollars, you can pay hundreds of dollars and try this in conjunction with something that he prescribed for me. So I did. And the site is, if you can see it,
Is
there's
he
an
getting paid for
H-
this? I'm trying to figure out. Is there some sort of.
I would feel more comfortable if you would ask him to remove his hat.
I'm getting
while we're having
nut-
this conversation.
yeah, I'm
Oh,
getting
yeah, no,
nuts.
I'm
Did you make
there.
Reed remove his
First
hat?
of all,
I mean,
I have. You hit. No.
This is
It's bad.
Reed's
look at this.
taking notes.
Okay, put your hat back on. I didn't
and
realize
I
you were
got
going to
this
make us all feel worse.
situation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you getting
Oh,
the
that's
I don't.
That's a tough one in the back.
I know.
Put the hat back on.
I'm
Some of us
googling it
have
right
no
now. I'm just
problem
trying
on
to
the
figure
ground.
out.
Put the hat back on.
I'm just
yeah,
trying to figure out this is
definitely.
like a pyramid scheme or
Put
something.
that hat
like
back
that.
on.
All right, my bad.
Reed and I are hoping this session
Reed
is
about the hat.
sponsored by For Hims
So,
because
yeah.
we're hoping to get free product. So,
Every time I type in hims.com, there's a coronavirus.
If you go to hims.com, if you go to hims.com, you
No,
can,
don't go to
you can-
hims.com.
Are those pills in there?
It's
It's
for
for
hims.
Hims.
Hims.com is it? Watch specifically.
different.
You go to hims.com, and it's
no, let's, yeah.
this is a coronavirus resource.
Fake
it's
news.
for hims.com. How did you already know this?
Because it says it on the bottle that I just,
Oh, for FORHIMS.com.
FORHIMS.com. So I go there. Then
First, you sample all the early climax things.
you meet with a doctor online. You tell him that your hair is not where you need it to be.
doctor online.
You go through. It's like it takes 5 minutes, and
like every doctor visit.
then they tell you you can do A, you can do B, or you can do A plus B. And if you're like me, you'll do A plus B, and you'll ask if there's a C, because this is important.
You know, Reed, you were saying that once we got to this subject, that now that he's got the Chia Pet thing going, it was going to like totally dominate. And it looks like you're going to be
No one's
correct.
able to talk.
So A plus B, there is a C. I'll get to that in a minute. So bottom line, the generics for here's what I've done. You can all see
Okay,
it.
is it so? So this is. I really have to ask because I'm looking at it now. I have, as per the website, I have receding hairline, and I have thinning at the crown, and I have overall hair loss thinning,
That's
and I don't have a full head of
mean,
hair.
that is
You're an
humiliating.
amazing man, and we
So
love you, and it doesn't
good enough.
matter.
I'm smart enough, and gosh darn
And
it,
you're
people
smart
like me.
enough, and people like you.
So you clicked on you clicked on the double. This is me.
No,
The double guy. And did you see, like, genuinely, have you seen have people, without you prompting, have people said, "Hey, your hair looks more full"?
Did you see the Facebook post that I put out there? Did you
Okay.
see it?
Let
Or
me
do I
let
need
me
to
ask
pull it up?
ask the question again.
Apparently,
Did with unprovoked?
I have a different question.
Unprovoked, did people say, "Hey, your hair looks more thick"?
did you see the Facebook
That
post
you put out?
or not?
Did you say?
Look,
Okay, but okay.
Did you see it or
Hold on.
not?
I just want everybody. This is. I'm just gonna read out loud to all millions of listeners. He's saying, "Did you see the Facebook post?" And the question he asked is, "What do you think?" Well, of course you have comments because you asked for them to. But
look
yes,
at the
it's before-
pictures.
Sure. It looks great. I'm just asking. Yes, it does. It looks great. It looks.
There's no hiding, and yet I have a buddy on there. I'm trying to figure out who it was. Oh, it's one of my all-time best friends, Grant Wilson. He puts a comment on there and he goes, "Nah, it's the lighting." He goes, "Let me," and I go, "The lighting." So then I take a separate picture and I make sure the lighting is exactly the same. There's a total difference. I mean,
Jason's clearly defensive here.
the truth
Reed.
is,
And I think you've hit a nerve.
the truth
Bottom line
is,
it for us.
There's
bottom line
been
it for us.
10 to 15% regrowth up here, which is where I need. Is it perfect? No, I still need more. I mean, I want an afro by the time this thing's over. I do. I want
Does
lots
the hair,
of hair.
You mentioned not being able to see or watch. Do you also have to manscape more now?
No, but I mean that's a big difference. Have you
That's
ever seen the
besides the
picture?
point.
That is a big
I
difference.
So-
saw the picture.
So
That's why I showed up today. I was trying to figure out the secret.
So it is the generic. Everybody wants to know on social media what
Everybody.
have I done. So here's what I did. It is from the site called Hims, which
For
I had
Hims.
great
For
questions about, but they have delivered. I thought would they give the stuff that really did anything, or would it be some fake pill? I don't think it is.
Okay, pills,
Pills. Okay.
stuff you put in there.
Okay.
what's
Can
that?
Can I
Hang
add
on,
to this?
I'm getting into. I'm laying it down for you.
So this was me. This is my head of
Ooh,
hair.
we have some competing hair knowledge.
Trying to be a competitor.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's me.
There is Propecia, right? You see that? That is a little bitty pill.
Propecia.
No, this is a little pill. It's easy to
There's
swallow.
substantial
That's
growth there,
Propecia.
right?
What are you doing?
It's the
I
generic.
don't want
for
to talk about it
Propecia.
because obviously he's getting paid for this.
Now-
and I'm on his podcast.
This
His for him.
Nice.
This
I'm on
is
him's
the generic Rogaine. What you do, you open it up.
It's a childproof.
Why are we doing this
Podcast.
now?
Why are you showing the
just-
camera?
I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to show what it is. But all you do,
By the way, this would never happen around the fire pit. Keep going.
right there.
If you do this at the ranch,
you
we're
got
done.
one
Remember 20 minutes
milliliter.
ago when we were getting real with each other?
You got 1 milliliter, and what you do, you just dab it. I'm not going to dab it now. 'Cause the truth is, when you dab it, it makes your hair look thinner. You don't want to do that live on camera. But that's all you do. You do that.
Wheels of-
plus you do
Wheels
the
of- wheels
Propecia
of
generic.
officially rolled right off.
Have there been any
And
side
then-
effects?
I'll
I
get
mean,
to
your
that.
winger
Yeah,
can get
let's
smaller,
get
but
to
either
that.
way.
Let's talk side
Now,
effects.
we're
heard
G
there
we're
was
G
a-
rated here. We're
Yeah.
G rated. The third
I
thing
already
is
said wiener. So
Nutrafol. Okay, let's talk about this.
Quickly.
We got a little bit of time. Okay, these pills are enormous. If you're like me, you will have trouble swallowing this.
he would be horrible in prison.
three or four.
Not enough hair and can't. Never mind.
Trouble swallowing
He'd do well in a
big
podcast,
items.
though.
And so I let these go. There is a couple there's a couple comments on social media that talk about. There's even a woman who said she took Nutrafol. Look, it may be great.
I mean, I'm going to look it
Too
up.
big for me to
I'm going to look it
swallow.
up.
I'll just say that.
I used
I've-
a product, but I like this. I wanted to
Have
specifically.
you used it?
Yeah, bro, check me out.
But what did
Catch
you
me outside.
use?
How about
Hey,
that?
Reed, have you done anything to help your hair?
What I'm doing is inconsequential because what I'm looking for specifically is for someone to say, "Hey, Reed, your hair. Wow, what are you doing?" Because at some rate, like, you see this, and I'm like, great. Is it just me? Because in all honesty, I've never looked at you and said you have thinning hair.
Wow. You just, Jason may tell you that he loves you right now.
I really have never looked
Jason's
at you
really
and
sad. You have to go home.
I've never looked at you and said you have thinning hair or hair loss or anything like that.
I could be doing a Ric Flair cut and strut in like 30
You're
minutes with
gonna
my
see Jason
wife.
go,
Yes.
Can we do a
Reed.
Can we do a
I
lightning
love
round
you.
on the how do you unwind and recharge?
Real quick.
Would love it. Go start us off, Jason.
To me, I'm telling you, the most important thing for me to recharge and relax is my ranch. I think if you're a guy and you've got some means, whether it's 5 acres, 10 acres, or 200 acres, or 1,000 acres, having the ability to go to a ranch and enjoy the land and get on a tractor, mow your land, fix fence, help livestock in the birthing process, in the
How's that?
everything, and I mean, just
So that's how you recharge.
yeah,
And that's how his
Heck
ranch hand
yeah.
recharges for him.
I love it.
He has zero work. He told us that before. Keep going. Reed,
No,
what
that's-
about
I
you?
agree.
How do you
Yeah.
unwind and recharge?
So I appreciate
keeping us lined up.
I appreciate the I've been out to his land and it is spectacular. We have a lake house and that is my happy spot. But I don't know. I mean that's it. I love getting away from just the hustle and bustle, be it a ranch, be it a lake house, whatever it is, travel. So that would be for me. What about you?
Same. Go out and away. I want to hear nothing.
But where? Lake house or ranch?
Both, either. I've got a boat. I will go sit on the water and I will turn everything off. I'll put my phone away, turn it off, and I will. Sometimes I'll just sit there. Last week I took a nap in my boat at my ranch, just with the rain hitting the roof of the metal building. Just that.
Cool.
I don't want, I want nothing.
Jim?
So mine's a little different because the stress that I feel has less to do with those kind of things and more to do with, am I doing everything I'm supposed to do with my 10-year-old boy? For some reason, my stress piles up there. So I feel that stress go away whenever I have boats and places to go and all that, but when I somehow incorporate him into some plan and he goes and has a great day and I feel like I'm a good dad, and then I feel like, okay, I'm not terrible. You know, I haven't allowed my personal life to occlude what I should be doing with my little 10-year-old boy. So something about me doing stuff with him and getting him to do stuff makes me feel better and less stressful and whatever. I mean, I feel that stress build up if I let time go. And I'm just kind of, I don't want to use the word ignore, but I'm allowing my personal and business stuff to just kind of, because it's just me and it's just him. We live in our home together. I get up every morning, I make him breakfast and lunch and take him to school and the whole thing. But somehow I feel like I'm responsible for his experiences. And when time passes and haven't done a lot, then I somehow feel that stress build. So by doing things like this weekend, going somewhere, whatever, I feel it go away. So for me, that's...
And I will say most people, we live in a bubble. We would all agree that not everybody has the opportunity to have a ranch and toys and lake house and whatever. So something that I believe would be replicable for anybody is creating that quality time with people who that you don't know how much time you have. And so for you, just trying to understand, for you, that is what's highly important, is creating that time and you feeling like,
well, the
I
weird
did
thing
it.
is
I
you don't
didn't
have
put my priorities towards
It's not
work.
like I chose that to
Right.
stress me out.
No, I
and
get
I don't
you.
know if it's the lack of having his mom, and it's just now it's all on me to develop this individual, right? I don't know if it's that, or I don't know why that stresses me out, but for some reason it does. But whenever I find that he and I go do stuff and whatever, then it just kind of dissipates and resets.
So you can only take him so far, and then God's got to take him the rest of the way. Read a book called "The Raising a Modern Day Knight." It was written in the '60s well, but it was written in the '60s or '70s. It's great. You'll love it. It talks about taking him through because I read that with my 12-year-old.
Speaking of that, I've got to go.
Yeah, I
gotta
got a book for you out in my truck.
Take off,
But-
and we'll shut it down. All right, hey, was this meaningful for y'all?
So great.
I feel like this conversation is like a 4-hour staring at a fire conversation with some of these topics.
Agreed.
So meaningful, yes. However, that's right.
Yeah.
However, some of these, like, could we have talked on your, like, I would love to sit down with you personally, Jamie, and say, like, I want to know more about what that looked like after you read the book several times and talked to your wife. I'd like to find out more, Jason, just specifically about, what you have said to that 25-year-old self and how that has actually changed now. Like, is it actually, can you look me in the eye and say that's actually changed? And I think things like that, like meaningful, I don't mean to, I'm not putting you on the spot or you on the spot.
It's growth. That's
but
growth.
But I'm saying, like, I find these topics very important. And you could settle on one for an hour, 2, 3 hours, because some of these unpacked, we can talk about whiskey for 10 minutes, but like some of these topics are really deep, and I have a lot to learn, just from different wisdom that I'm surrounded with. And so hearing some of these stories, it was meaningful. I'd love to know more, is the answer to my question, or answer to your question.
Okay. Thanks very much for tuning in to the Burress Law Life and Friends podcast.